All right, so tonight we're talking about breaking out of a limiting mindset. And this is something that has been on my heart for some time now. And just in doing a lot of soul searching myself and, watching a lot of personal development and reading, a bunch of different things, it really started to stand out to me. And it's a trend that I've just kind of seen. That limiting mindset, it's just basically anything that's keeping you from your full potential. So it's one of the hardest things for us to get over because, we can take the steps to, do something better for ourselves. But a lot of times our mind has to catch up to us. Like our heart says, yes, let's do this, but our brain is a little bit slower to the party. And so, the limiting mindset and the limiting beliefs that we have as coaches is that, that no one's going to want to hear from us. No one's going to follow me. People, aren't going to care about my story. And so those preconceived notions are like you're setting yourself up for failure. You're putting those limiting mindsets before you've even started. And, that's us telling ourselves that we can't do it. And so maybe you've been watching someone else's story and you've started to kind of adapt their story, but that's not you. Like, that's not who you are. And so that's not what your goals are going to achieve. And so, my goal in this call and what I've got coming up for our team is to help you break through that limiting mindset because, it's just putting you further and further away from your goals and where you want to be. And so, I've talked a lot about whys and goals lately, and those are the things that are going to help you get over that limiting mindset. But here's the thing, guys, and I posted about this earlier today. A lot of times our goals and our why and our visions, they change. And if we aren't willing to change with them, then we're going to end up stuck in the exact same place where we were 6 months ago. And I realized that for myself. Like, I realized that as I was growing, my why was changing, but I wasn't. And I had this limiting mindset of, I can't get to where I want to be. And I was just stuck. Like, I was stuck in the same spot. I was stuck in the same position. I wasn't seeing the things. And I, started to have those doubts and those beliefs that I couldn't do it and that I couldn't get to where I wanted to be. And so you've got to have something strong to focus on. And it has to be more than the superficial. For me, like, I've had the whys of I wanted to, which coming home isn't superficial, but I've had the whys of I wanted to reach this certain rank, or I wanted to make this amount of money, or I wanted to do this or that. And some of those things are great goals to have. But as far as my why and that passion of why I'm continuing to show up every single day, that's not strong enough, because at the end of the day, money fades. And at the end of the day, you're going to reach your goal of how many pounds you want to lose. That's not strong enough to keep you going when life's telling you that it sucks right now and you're in the trenches and you're not wanting to move forward. So your why has got to be something that you are just so extremely passionate about. And if you don't have that, or if you're missing that, then we need to have a conversation so we can figure out where that's at and we can figure out what it is that you truly want to do. And so, when you have that strong focus, and when I started to realize that my why was changing and that I needed to change, you get so laser focused on those goals and that why that you don't have time for those limiting beliefs. They go out the window. And so that one thing that is going to pull your focus, to put you in that one track mind so that you're not seeing all these things over here, and you don't even have time to have those doubts and those, beliefs that you can't do it, because that why is so strong. And so if you don't have a clear goal or a clear why, you're going to have limiting beliefs, because you have all of this time and all of these things, all of this doubt starts to creep back in, and you have no endpoint. Like, you have no place that you want to be. You don't have that finish line. You don't have a goal. I want you to think about it like in track. How many of you have ever seen the hurdle race? Like, you start and you have to gain momentum to overcome, that obstacle. You have to overcome and be able to get, up over that hurdle. And maybe you trip. I'll never forget the story. I was in 8th grade, and y'all can laugh at me all you want, but it's true. I broke my arm doing the hurdles, and I'll never forget, I hit my trail leg, which is the leg that comes last, on the second hurdle, and I fell. And I knew that I broke my arm right then and there, but I got back up and I finished, and I even tripped, I think, over the last hurdle before I got there. But the point is I got up and I crossed the finish line. Like, along the way, you're going to have trials. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have things that stand in the way, but you have to have that momentum to keep going. You have to have that finish line, that place that you want to be. And if you don't, then of course you're going to be stuck in the sand. Of course you're going to be in that same spot because you have nowhere to move towards. And so, maybe you're feeling lost, or maybe you're feeling like you don't know where you belong or where you want to be. We've got to figure out what that why is. You've got to figure out what that thing that is this, what you want the most out of life. And so that you can start, working towards that. But those limiting beliefs are going to pull you from your focus, and your focus needs to be on that why and on that goal. And so, when you become so focused on that, you can't see the can'ts, because every day, if you're telling yourself every day you're getting up, I can't do that, I didn't do this well, or I failed at this, then you have no room for the yeses. You have no room for the I believe I can. That's where the personal development comes in, and I'm not going to get into that a whole lot tonight, but that's where that comes in. It forces you to put those happy thoughts into your brain. It forces you to kick out all of those beliefs of you can't do it, you can't succeed. It pushes those away, and you don't have time to think about those because you've got this one-track mind. And so, one of Beachbody's philosophies is to decide, to commit, and to succeed. I want you to truly think about those things. It's not just a banner on the wall. It's not just a sign that you put up. I want you to really break those things down and think about the practice that you have to put in with those. When you decide to do something, okay, it's a decision requires action. If you think that, let's say you say you're going to do 50 invites a day. Okay, great. Those are just words. You have to decide to actually do it. You have to put that action into place, because a decision requires a response. It has to be real. If it, and it has to be firm. It's got to be tied into those goals and those visions. And if you're just saying it, then honestly, guys, it's just words. We're not doing anything with it. I can say, I want to be this point, or I want to do this, but if I'm just saying it, I'm not actually doing anything with it, then it's just words. And so then you have the second, which is the commitment. And that's your follow through. That's, first you have to decide that you're going to do it. You've got to put those actions into place, but then you have to truly commit to what it is that you're going to do. You have to show up every single day. You have to believe that the decision that you made is possible. You have to follow through with that decision and your commitments. And then the success, it's not a number. It's not a rank. It's not the money. The success lies in just you deciding and committing and following through with those two things. That's the success. It's that you said you were going to do something and you actually followed through with it. It's not that, I hit Success Club 20. It's not that I became a 5-star diamond. It's that you decided to do something, you put those actions into place, and then you committed and you followed through with it. And so if that's what you have to, tell yourself, to just, maybe it's, something small that you have to decide on, and you have to make that action, and then you have to make that follow through. You have to do those things to get over that limiting belief. And so maybe it's just a small decision, but it's the consistency of those first two things. That's what leads to the success. That's what leads to, growing where you're at and getting and pushing those limiting mindsets, out of your brain. And so I want you to really think about that. How does that apply to you every single day? Like I just said, let's say I decided to do 50 invites a day. Okay, great. Now what? You said you do it, but now you have to show up. Now you have to, the commitment is the action. The commitment is you actually doing it. And the success isn't the challenge packs. The success isn't the Success Club points. The success is you building the relationships, you having the conversations, or whatever it is. That's the success. And that doesn't, that's not about rank, and that's not about money. That's just you guys getting over that limiting belief and showing up every single day. Because when you have that big goal and you have that why, you're putting the pen to paper and you're taking action and getting over whatever that limiting mindset is. Because guys, that mindset of no one wants to talk to me, no one wants to hear my story, it's crap. People do want to hear your story. Your story does matter. And it matters to that one person that's watching you. You've got to get over the fact that, no one's watching you. That's not true. People are watching you, or that your story doesn't matter, because it does. It matters to that one person. Maybe that person that, was watching you 3 years ago wasn't paying any attention, but something you said today they needed to hear that. Or maybe the person that's never seen you before is tuning into it because someone shared your story with them. Your story matters, and you've got to get over that limiting mindset that no one's watching you and that no one cares, because people care. You matter. But it's a limiting mindset that we tell ourselves that no one's paying attention, that our story doesn't matter because we're not getting any likes and comments. That's crap, y'all. It is, because they are watching. They see you every single day showing up. It doesn't matter if they're like, it is not about the likes and not about the comments. And I know that Facebook is, you got all these algorithms. That's not what matters. People see you. People want to hear your story. They don't care if you said it one time or you said it 100 times. You have got to get over that people are going to be, we've all had that thought or that feeling that people are going to get sick and tired of hearing our story. No, they're never going to get sick and tired of it. And if they are, there's a delete button and they can unfollow you. But I promise you, the people that matter, the people that want to see your story are going to be right there. And so you've got to know that who you are and your story matters. And if you feel like you don't have a story, then we need to have a conversation, because you do. And you need to start putting that story into place. And so your story is never going to get old. It's never going to get boring. It's never going to lose that punch or its power. And so you have got to never, ever give up on who you are and what your story means, because it's never, like, it is so powerful, y'all. It's not even funny. And I see so many coaches come into this business and think, well, my story doesn't matter, or no one's watching me, or no one's answering me. And it's crap, because they are. But we come in and we have this preconceived notion of this overnight success, or that it's going to happen right away. No, just because I post something that was detrimental to me, sometimes I don't want to post about the struggles. Sometimes I don't want to post about, the things that are going on with my kids. But at the end of the day, that's real life. That's what people are relating to. That's what's mattering to people. It's not that I've hit 3-star diamond or that I'm a Success Club All-Star. They don't give a shit about that. It's not about that. It's about that when I'm in the trenches and I'm going through the exact same thing, they understand, they get what that feels like. And so you've got to keep telling it. You've got to keep sharing your story. You've got to get over the fact that you think that people don't want to see it or don't want to hear it, because it's not true. People want that positivity. No one wants to get onto their newsfeed every single day and read negative stuff. How many of y'all, like right now, especially in our society and with the elections and all this other shit that's going on, like, it's just negative, negative, negative. No one wants to see that. They want to be a part of that positive movement. They want to see someone overcoming obstacles. They want to see someone setting a goal and achieving it. They want to be a part of that. And so, I want to be that example to my kids. I want to be that example to you guys, to my community. I want to be that example of what they want to believe. And so, belief is a hard word. And it's something that doesn't come easy. When we are new coaches, you and a lot of times, your upline or whoever you're talking to, or sometimes I'll be posting about it, I'll say, what's your dream? What is it that you want? And you don't really have them. You just show up, you do what you're supposed to do, you do this training, you do that training. But when we say dreams, it's like a foreign concept. We don't really understand, because society today, y'all, doesn't talk about dreaming and truly like envisioning what it is that we want out of life. And so if someone says, what's your dream? You're like, I don't know. Well, the reality is I just have to do it, and that's it. But we don't actually believe that we can achieve these things. And so that's a limiting mindset right there. I had to get over the fact that I didn't think I could achieve, this dream that I had, or that I couldn't, I had to get over the fact that I had this limiting mindset of myself. Like, I would never be able to get out of debt. I was limiting myself. It was an obstacle. I was telling myself I couldn't get to that point. And, so we have this, it's just this preconceived notion that I'm not worthy enough of achieving that success, or I'm not, I don't deserve to have those dreams. Like, that's crap. No one's ever told me that. That was me, like, standing in my own way, being my own obstacle that is holding myself back. Like, no one else is telling me those things. I've never heard that. I had to open my eyes and realize that I was the only person standing in my own way. It's not someone else telling me that. I had to realize that there were people actually cheering me on, that there were people who wanted to be right there alongside of me. And I had to see what I already had as gifts and talents, because I wasn't, drawing from them. I was standing in my own way, telling myself that I wasn't worthy enough to achieve those successes and that I wasn't deserving enough to accomplish my dreams and what we have as a vision as a family and what it is that we want to do. I had to get over that because literally those are the things that were going through my mind, but it was because my why wasn't focused enough. And so all of a sudden my why wasn't focused enough. And now I've got all these outsides. I can't, I'm not good enough. Monica, you can't do that. It doesn't matter how long you've been in here. It doesn't matter. And all of a sudden it became muddled and I had no idea where I wanted to go. And so I want you to think about these 3 steps that you have to have in order to get over that limiting mindset. The first one is the belief that I talked about. You already have that belief because you're sitting right here on this call with me tonight. You had that belief that you could help someone. You had that belief that you could lead a team. You had that belief that in yourself that you were going to show up every single day. So I want you to know that you have that belief. You're a coach, because you're right here, you're overcoming those obstacles, you're showing up, you're jumping those hurdles. And so you've got to continue to have that belief every single day. Maybe there's people in your life, y'all, who are telling you that they don't believe in what it is that you're doing. Let me just tell you something. That's their problem, not yours. And you have to own the fact that you believe in yourself, in your goals, in your dreams, in your vision. So y'all know that we are doing this, Whole 30 as a family. In all honesty, it goes along lines with everything that we do as coaches. It's just focusing on our nutrition. We're still doing our workouts. I'm still drinking my Shakeology. It's just dialing in things a little bit more just to figure out what is going on with our family. And I'll be honest and say I've had a lot of pushback from those around me of why I'm doing it and what I'm subjecting my kids to and how I'm not doing the right things and how I'm depriving them. They've got their opinions. They've got, trying to tell me everything and how they feel. But at the end of the day, I know and I truly believe that I'm doing what's best for my family. And that is the only thing that matters. What goes on in this household, what happens between my husband and I and my kids is the only thing that matters. But it's because I have that grounding belief that I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. And so you've got to be good with you to know that you have this belief, because you're going to have those naysayers. You're going to have those people that tell you they don't believe in network marketing. They don't believe in relationship building. They don't believe in building a home-based business on the internet. You're going to have that. And maybe those people are right there in your life right now, and you got to shut them out and realize at the end of the day, their opinions don't matter. It does not matter what they say. They are not paying your bills. They are not running your life. It is you, and you have got to be good with that. So you got to let them say, what they want, and you've got to show them. You've got to show them what that belief looks like by your actions. It's by you showing up every single day and putting those things into place. So the second tip is when you're talking about those beliefs and you're talking about those goals, and this is one thing that I really struggled with over the years, and I've gotten so much better at it, and now I love it. It takes me to my happy place. But you have got to start speaking about those goals and those visions and those dreams in first person and in first person present, as if you're experiencing those things right now. Like, that's where the visualization comes in. Those of you that have read The Miracle Morning, that's where that visualizing comes in. That's where owning it comes in. That's where that belief in what those things are, that's where that comes in. You've got to believe in those things right now. And so I want you to think about that. I want you to, dream. Like, when I was working, it was that I was believing, I was envisioning what my day would look like when I was at home with my kids. Now it's envisioning, what is that freedom like when we decide we want to pick up and go on vacation? It's that belief of, we are going to own our own home, and it's going to be the home that we want. And so I envision myself, what my house looks like, what my office looks like, what I'm doing. I know that in my office, I want a bookshelf behind it. I want like a bay window so I can have a chair right there. So when I'm doing my personal development, I can see the outside because I love outdoor lighting. I know that I want, certain things on the wall. I can visualize and see what it is I want on the wall. I can visualize what my kitchen looks like. I want that open concept because I love my family and I love how much openness we have between the kitchen and the living room. And I want I'm visualizing what those things look like and truly believing that I will achieve them. I didn't say tomorrow. I didn't say a year from now, but I know that that's where I'm going, and I know that that's what we want. And so I want you to truly, envision whatever that is for you, whatever that goal is, whatever those whys. Maybe it's that I'm envisioning what paying off debt looks like and not having to worry about that, and envisioning what savings looks like. Y'all, we never knew what that looks like. I will be real honest. We did not know the concept of saving or what that was, or that's just not the way that my family grew up, unfortunately. And I want to break that mold. And I've started breaking that mold. So I want, I visualize what that looks like, and making sure, and, when things were struggling, I was envisioning not having the lights cut off, or making sure I had enough money for groceries, or whatever it is. Start to visualize those things and talk about them right now as if you're experiencing them. If y'all didn't listen to the National Wake Up Call this week, I highly suggest it. I had never heard of this coach. I'll be real honest. She's been a coach for 7 years. Had never heard from her. Didn't know who she was, but I was listening to it and I went, are you kidding me? Like, it was like God was saying, here, I'm already giving you personal development that I want you to talk about with your team. Now let me give you another thing to just add in there. And she talked about a vision journal. And she said some people call it a manifestation journal or whatever, but it's where you're writing down what those things are and what it feels like to be successful for you. What does success look like? And again, it's more than rank. It's more than money. It's what is success truly like in your life? What does that feel like for you? What is it that you want? And I did this a couple weeks ago, and I wrote out what success would feel like for me and 4 areas of my life. I did my vision and what it was. I did my vision for my marriage and what I wanted out of that. I did my vision for my family and my kids. I did my vision with my spirituality. I did my vision financially, and then I did my vision for my business. And what it was, I truly, like, what it looked like, what it felt like, what it sounded like, what it was I wanted to accomplish. Because the more real you get, the more you can visualize it, the more you're going to want to be working towards that, and that one-track mind and having that focus. And so, I want you to have those feelings of owning it, because you are the one speaking to yourself. You have to overcome those limiting mindsets, and you have to have that such deep-seated belief in yourself and talk to yourself that way. You have to be able to tell yourself that you can do it, because you are your biggest fan, y'all. Like, and you can't worry about what everyone else is telling you. You are the only person that you can control. And so you've got to be excited about that vision. You've got to be excited about those goals, and, knowing that you're feeling them. The third one, number 3, is there is no plan B. Like, the limiting mindset, this limiting mindset gives you an out. It says, I've never had an out since I became a coach. I'll be real honest with you. From the day I became a coach and hit the ground running, I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm a lifer. I'm not, there's no out for me. There's no quitting. There's no nothing. I will be here in the long run, because I see my vision, I see my passion, and I see what it is. But when you give yourself that plan B, like, I can't even fathom. Like, I see coaches come and go all the time, and it honestly just baffles me, y'all, because I have never had that quitting mentality, ever. Now, have I struggled? Absolutely. Have I had doubts? Absolutely. But never in my mind did I ever have that quitting. So you've got to get over that limiting mindset that there's an out. There is no other option, because all that does is it gives you a back door. You aren't saying in 6 months, I'll see where I'm at. No, that's giving yourself a back door, and it's not okay if you're going to have that belief. Like, you've got to have that mindset of there is no other option. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. You've got to grow into the leader you want to be. You have to experience things along the way, so that you can say, hey, 2 years from now, this is where I'm at. And I can say that because I've been in this business for 4 years. 4 years ago, I'm not the same person I was then. We've been through some things. We've seen things. I've met, like, the people I've met, the relationships I built, like, mind blown. I am nowhere near the person I was 4 years ago, but I had to grow into that, and I'm still growing and still struggling. But it's because I've never had that out mentality. You have a problem, you figure it out, and you figure, but there's no other option. And so I want you guys to think about it like this. And some of you can relate to this and some of you can't, and that's okay. I want you to just go with it. Single parents. I can understand this, because at one point in time, I was in that position. I was a single parent. And you become a parent, there is no other option. You don't have any other out. Yes, there is no other out. And there is no plan B. Like, you have to show up every single day. You have to pay the bills. You have to fix stuff when it's broken. You have to register your kids for school. So, of course, you're going to be afraid. Of course, you're going to have fear. But so what? Like, you got to get over it because you have these little people relying on you every single day. You can't sit back and say, I can't do things, because there is no, I can't. You've got to show up every single day. There literally is no other option. And so you just have to get it done. That's the mentality that we need to have as coaches. There's a problem. We've got to find a solution. We've got to figure it out because there is no other option. It just has to happen. And if I sit here and say, I can't do this, or if I can't, I'm just limiting myself, and I'm crippling myself. I'm limiting my beliefs. I'm crippling my family. Like, there is no other option. You just have to do what you have to do to figure it out. And so you've got to get over that fear. You've got to get over that limitation that there's an out and that there's a plan B, because you've got this focus and you have the ability to do it. And that brings me to point number 4, is that you have to believe and know that you already have the gifts, the talents, the people right now. You have those in your life right now. You're just not using them. And you guys know that I have been on the spiritual journey as well. And for me, like, I know that God will provide a way. I know that he's going to give me the strength. I know that he's going to give me the courage to do what it is to lead the example that he wants me to lead. I know that that's going to happen. And so you've got to have that belief, and you've got to have that faith in yourself that there will be a way provided. But when you give yourself just that mustard seed of a doubt, it's going to foster into something else. If you give yourself that seed that says, maybe in a year from now, if I'm still where I'm at, I'm just going to go ahead and call it quits. You're already, like, your mind, when things get tough, that's immediately where it's going to go. It's not going to be, hey, let me figure out this problem. It's going to be like, well, I can just quit. Like that, we know that it's not going to happen overnight. And so that limiting mindset, that's the one thing. Like, I want you guys to I want you to come to this place tonight. I've got 2 call to actions. So the one thing is I want you to think about that limiting mindset. What is it for you? Maybe it's a couple things. Maybe it's something that was ingrained in you when you were a kid. Whatever that belief is that's untrue or that's false, I want you to write it down. And then I want you to do whatever ceremony it is that's going to help you get rid of that limiting mindset. And do whatever you need to do to clear your brain from it. But here's the thing, y'all. Don't write something down today and 4 months from now come back and that's still the same thing. That means you have not believed in letting go of whatever that limiting mindset is. It means you're not truly ready to just push it out of the side and let it go and focus on that vision and that why. And so you've got to, maybe it's that you need more personal development, and that's what's going to help bring those mustard seeds of positivity and the I cans and the yeses back into you. But I want you to really sit back and I want you to think about what it is that you are telling yourself that you can't do and why you're doing it. I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. You can crumple it up and throw it away. You can light it on fire. Do whatever you need to do to let it go. Because at the end of the day, you are the only person standing in your own way. Not me, not your coach, not your challengers, you. And guys, that was a gut check for me. That was a reality, like, slap in the face. Like, Monica, you're the only person that's standing in your way right now. You're the only person that's telling you that you can't do it. You're the only person that's saying you can't succeed. No one else is telling you that. So you need to quit telling yourself that. And so you've got to realize that your limiting mindset isn't going to do anything but just hold you back. It's going to put you into that quicksand, and maybe you're feeling stuck right now, and maybe you're just feeling like you're drowning in the sand. You've got to realize that you've got to let go of whatever that limiting mindset belief is, because you have the gifts, you have the talent, and you have the people in your life to help you be successful. And so you have to decide, you've got to take those actions, you've got to have that commitment and that follow through in order to get to that success. And so get over those limitations, believe that you can do it. It's not going to happen overnight. Guys, know that you are going to have hurdles, and they may be big hurdles. But again, what in life doesn't have hurdles? But for some reason, we come into this business and we think that, oh my gosh, I have a hard month, or I have a hard couple months, that all of a sudden life is just over. And it's not. Like, how many people do we know are going through, cancer or illnesses, or like that is hard. This, having a hard month, is not hard. Like, you just have the option, the mindset, the belief, the limitations to let it go and move forward. But we don't. We keep holding on to it. And so I want you to, remember the 4 steps. So the first one is belief, having that belief. having that goal, that vision, that why that you just are so tied into, that you believe them. And that's number 2, is that I'm envisioning, I know what it feels like. I want to feel them. I want to see what I want to be walking on the beach on vacation with my husband hand in hand, not worrying about the bills being paid, not worrying about whatever that is. You've got to realize that there is no other out. There is no plan B. There is no other option. You just have to show up, get it done, figure out the solution, and do it every single day. And the 4th one is that you have everything you need to be successful. You have the gifts. You have the talents. I believe in you wholeheartedly. It's time for you guys to start believing in yourself. And so I really want you to think about, like I said, your call to action is to think about what those limiting beliefs are. If you want to share them with us, that would be awesome. And have whatever ceremony it is that you want to release them. And then the second thing is I want you to really think about that why and that dream and that focus and what it is. And maybe your why and your dream has changed and you're needing to, refigure that out, because I'm right there with you on that. I'm just now getting to a place where I'm refiguring out what my new why is. And I want to share those because, guys, that's what people want in life. They want that positivity. They want that focus. And so I would love it if we would share those with each other. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is November. So it's funny, as I was listening to the National Wake Up Call today, she was talking about the personal development book she was reading. I had just ordered this book last week because I had been reading it and really wanting to move my business forward with personal development. And so I ordered it. And so then I get on the National Wake Up Call and here she is talking about it. So I want to make our personal development team book study for the month of November. And I'm telling you this now so you have time to get it, with the 12-week year. So it's, how to be more effective in 12 weeks, breaking your year up into 12 weeks and what that looks like and how to be more successful in life, not just our business. And so that's what we're doing for November. So I'll post it. It's by Brian P. Moran. 12-week year is what it's called. Backwards. I can't switch my camera so it's not backwards. So that's your call to action tonight, guys. I'm going to stop